Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have two articles here. One that shows Russians succeeding in destroying certain targets, and the other one talks about the Ukrainians, obviously them succeeding in hitting Russian targets. So let's get on with this. So the first one, I will use this one from Ukrinform, and it says that Mykolaiv's port infrastructure struck with Uragan rockets. That's by the Russians. And it says that the Russian troops struck the port infrastructure of Mykolaiv with 3 Uragan multiple launch rocket systems, MLRS rockets. No casualties were reported. The relevant statement was made by Mykolaiv Regional Military Administration head Vitaly Kim on Telegram on Ukrinform correspondent reports. And I'm quoting, according to data from the South Operational Command, in the evening of August 13, 2022, 3 Uragan MLRS rockets hit the port infrastructure of Mykolaiv. No casualties. Well, that's good. And it says, in addition, around 8 p.m. August 13, 2022, the city of Mykolaiv came under enemy fire. Russian troops struck the residential area and industrial facilities with 6 Smerch MLRS rockets. As a result, a civilian was injured and several buildings were damaged. On the night of August 14, 2022, at 2 a.m., the enemy again opened fire on Mykolaiv. The details are yet to be checked. So they're doing at destroying the infrastructure in the port, it seems like, in Mykolaiv. So that's going to be the next target from an invasion over there that the Russians, it seems like, they set their targets on. The other article comes from the same news outlet, Ukrinform, and it's from the 14th of August 2022. It says 2 enemy ammo depots in Kherson region smashed. This is by the Ukrainians. So 2 enemy ammunition depots in Kherson region smashed. The armed forces of Ukraine smashed 2 more enemy ammunition depots in Kherson region. And I'm quoting, it has been officially confirmed that the explosions heard in Muzikivka and Nova Kakhovka during the day signified the destruction of 2 enemy ammunition depots, end quote. Serhiy Klan, a member of the Kherson Regional Council, posted on Facebook. Details are expected from the districts far from Kherson, he said. As reported, the armed forces of Ukraine destroyed the bridges across the Dnieper River and cut off Russian supplies to Kherson region. So I made a video on this one, and they're very happy about this kind of achievement, damaging, because they say destroy the bridges across. There were 3, and they damaged all 3 of them in such a way that they say the Russians cannot get supplies from the east side of the river Dniepro's bank. So that's towards Russia. Now, yeah, it's true, they will be probably depleted for about a day or 2 from from having ammunition and whatever they need, the military. But in the same time, the population will be depleted for any aid coming from that side, because there's not going to come anything from Ukrainian side. You can bet your butt on that. It's going to come from the Russians, who have to support now the guys that they occupied. So I read some articles regarding the Ukrainians blaming the Russians and saying that the Russians actually are engaged in war crimes, and by depleting the population that they occupied right now, the territory they occupied, by depleting them of medical aid, medical services and all that, because they say the communication routes, contact routes the corridors, safety corridors that were set, they are closed, and the civilians cannot receive any medical medication and so on. Now, if you destroy those bridges, how is that going to get to your civilians that you are so concerned with? Obviously, they will not. And remember, when the Russians will set up their pontoon or the ferry crossings, the first thing they will do, they will send for their military, and then sometime later they will allow Red Cross or whomever to just so it's not going to be the medical supplies that will arrive first. It's going to be the military equipment crossing the Dnieper River. So thank you very much, Ukraine, but you do what you need to do, because it's a war, and you have to make sure that these guys are not able to smash you or continue to smash you as they've been in the past 6 months or so. They keep saying about the Russians being at a dead end and not being able to do anything, but on the other hand, these guys are still shelling Ukrainian territory, and the fact that the Ukrainians are trying to stop the Russians being, the supply lines, that's a good military tactic, that's for sure. But on the other hand, I don't want to hear them talking about those people who are trapped over there. It's not only the military who are trapped on the west side of the Dnieper River, on the banks that's towards Ukraine, because the Russians are on the other side already. They crossed the river, so they crossed the river and they already occupy that area. So whomever is over there will not receive any aid, because the bridges are taken out. However they're taken out. This is where the Russians, as you see, as this article coming from the Ukrainian side states, they are still able to use Uragan missiles or rockets, and it's not a big deal actually, but I don't know how accurate they are. The Ukrainians, on the other hand, are hitting, surgically pinpointed the ammunition depots of the Russians. The Russians, on the other hand, only one casualty, which I'm assuming it was a civilian, and because that's what they target. The Russians are targeting only civilians, and the Ukrainians are targeting only military personnel, because the rockets and mortars are smart enough to avoid. If they see a civilian, they stop in the air and go somewhere else. It's like children or cartoons here, but what do you want? This is war, and war is a place where truth dies first victim, right? So thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and definitely be just. But you can't be just unless you fulfill the other requirements. You have to have courage, you have to be strong, and you have to look for the truth and be smart, because if you're done, how are you going to put the truth together to dispense justice? See you.